More in just a moment.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Lemon pepper fans, I hope you're sitting down because Zaxby's just dropped a mouth-watering lemon pepper dry rub. Now you can get that delicious zesty lemon and cracked black pepper flavor you love on the chicken you love. Try it any way you want, from Zaxby's lemon pepper wings and lemon pepper sandwiches to their lemon pepper chicken fingers. And with the Zaxby's app, all that lemon peppering can earn you rewards points. Now that's lemon pepper perfection. Zaxby's lemon pepper. Get some today. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll hear from baseball head coach Rob Vaughn.
We did some really cool things last year. 40 games for the first time since 2002. Went undefeated in midweeks, won 17 conference games. Some things that on paper you look at and say, man, that's a heck of a year. But I think as a staff and as a team, we looked at last year and said, man, we played 2 games down in Hattiesburg and went home while everybody else got to keep playing, and that's not good enough for this place. And so for us, a big piece of this was just putting a huge emphasis on finishing, putting a huge emphasis on being the best version of ourselves late in the year. And how do we do that? How do we stay healthy? How does our strength and conditioning play into that? How does the kind of the rotation of players, that's a big piece of depth. If you looked at the lineups I ran out last year, it was about the same 10 or 11 guys every weekend. And you felt like on the pitching staff, same thing.
I'll have more in a moment.
Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Join us on Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. If you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those 2-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Lynn Leighton Ford, located online at lynnleightonford.com. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Greetings from Memphis, Tennessee. Getting you ready for UH Charger basketball. I am going to have to pause here momentarily, or Brian Temple's going to take over, because they are literally about to play the national anthem here at CBU in front of the women's game.
Put your hand over your heart.
Men's game, men's game starts at 7, and we'll have that coverage for you.
We've turned towards
Brian
the flag.
Temple.
We've turned toward
The
the flag.
floor is yours.
Well, I'm not here by myself. I'm here with the Wes Neighbors. He's in Studio 1A. Wes, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing really good.
It's been a great day. Not as cold as we thought it was going to be. It's still kind of pleasant outside. Did I tell you about the random pig in my neighborhood yesterday?
The random pig?
It was just a small little pig. Not like a big eating pig, like, but not exactly like one of those little bitty
A piglet.
Yeah, like he's happy. We call him Link. Short for sausage Link.
So did you adopt it?
No, I couldn't get him. Couldn't catch him. Now, oddly enough, a guy who walks with a cane can't catch a pig very easily. But it was not what I was expecting.
If you used a cane, you could have had some young bacon.
Well, maybe. Wouldn't be a lot of it. The Ollie the Wonder Dog was very interested in the pig in the yard.
So I have a pig.
You do?
Yeah. Pumbaa.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a neighborhood pig they found.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a boar, actually. It's the nicest thing we have on the farm.
Well, there used to be a lot more boars around here.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. It used to be a problem. I mean, our family place down in South Alabama used to be a big problem. And so a lot of them, and all of a sudden they weren't a problem.
I was planning on just muting myself for the next hour and a half right now.
There were just like, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 barbecue places opened up.
Yeah, funny how that happens.
Yeah, that was really good barbecue though. Right on Sanford Road in Bristol County.
I feel like I'm in the land of pretty good barbecue here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. You're one of the central places in America for barbecue.
Yeah. No, we have some great barbecue in Huntsville. Don't get me wrong, but planning on partaking. Well, planning on partaking a little bit tomorrow before we mosey on over to Jackson, Tennessee.
So where y'all going?
Pre-game rendezvous.
Oh, there you go. Good choice.
Rendezvous. Anyway, we're going to start we're going to start pregame around 6:30, but I will tell you this: driving over on 72 Wes, there were a lot of trees down. I mean, a lot of trees down in Mississippi, and there's quite a few trees that no longer have the tops of the trees because they've collapsed, and there's quite a few that have just split in half. It's really, it kind of takes your breath away, honestly, of the amount of devastation here in the state of Mississippi more than anything.
Well, it was the water came up through Alabama, and the reason that Alabama didn't get the same thing as Mississippi did. It was just warm enough to keep us from having that happen. We were very fortunate. Because Wesley lives in my son lives in Oxford, Mississippi, and they were devastated. They just started going back to school this week,
Monday. And keep in mind when I say 72, that's the northern edge from like Iuka, Corinth over to Walnut. That is, I can only imagine what it's like down around Oxford, Cleveland, that areas of Mississippi more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, as you can probably hear, the women's game literally about to start, but there is some breaking news Although, if you really do follow this court case, that the NCAA got a big win earlier in the week with the Charles Bediako case, but that is not the case here today, as Trinidad Chambliss has been issued another year of eligibility. And from what I understand, are reading these tweets from Ross Ellinger, the judge is still just scathing towards the NCAA on not using their appropriateness of their power due to this medical red shirt that was not granted to Trinidad Chambliss. And this is big. This is big for Ole Miss and this football team coming up this season.
Yeah, and didn't make any sense. I mean, you have guys getting 7, 8, 9. Well, what was the one I sent you? Was that a 7 year, 8 year?
That was 9. That was 9
years.
Yeah.
And it's obvious this was a simple deal. I mean, I'm good for the judge. I don't understand the arbitrary nature of the NCAA. But that's why they've lost every lawsuit. That's why they lost credibility everywhere, and that's why you can't pay attention to what they do. There's no here or there. You got kids getting 9 years, and Trinidad Chambliss was obviously sick, obviously deserved the
Judge says that the NCAA ignored evidence from Ferris State over Trinidad's illness in 2022. The court finds that he was clearly physically unfit to play that season of college football. The decision has not been read, but it is quite clear that Judge Robert Whitwell is ordering that Trinidad Chambliss will be granted yet another year of eligibility. This is Ross Ellinger tweeting this as he is in the courtroom in the state of Mississippi. In fact, there was a moment that I saw that was tweeted out several times. Joe Judge was asked to speak slower, asked where he came from, and he said the Philadelphia area, and the judge asked him to not talk quite as fast.
Yeah, but Joe Judge was the quarterback at Mississippi State. So at one time, I mean,
you would think he would know.
He was a coach, and he's probably excited. He was a coach in Tuscaloosa under Coach Saban, and then of course went to the New England Patriots for a couple of their Super Bowls. Ended up the head coach of the Giants. No,
that's right.
Of the Giants for
New York Giants
for a year or two, and now is the quarterback coach at
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yeah, I'm friends with him and his family. I mean, his beautiful wife is so sweet to us when we go over there, and is just a nice, beautiful family.
Well, a pretty significant win. Keep in mind that Deuce transferred to Ole Miss as well, so there is a very capable quarterback room, I would say, for the first full season there for Coach Pete Golding more than anything once we go through this. And it's perfect timing as Richard Cross joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Richard was on the call last night for the Alabama Ole Miss game. Richard, how are you this evening, sir?
Good evening, guys. Great to be with you. Doing well.
Well, there's a lot to dive into. Most significant, the judge's ruling on Trinidad Chambliss. Is this at all surprising to you, sir?
It is. It's not surprising. The thing that I said about this, I know the judge that presided over this case. He has been around, this part of Mississippi for a long time. And he's a good man, and he is a fair judge. And I said on the radio here, the people that thought that this was just going to be a rubber stamp, forget about it, oh, it's a sham of a courtroom deal, were mistaken. That's not how Judge Whitwell has operated traditionally. I thought the case had a lot of merit to it. in terms of what Trinidad Chambliss's attorneys were going to argue. But there was not going to be a scenario where they could just kind of go in and, show up and smile and everything was going to be good. They were going to have to go in and present a well laid out case, because the barrier to get that injunction is pretty significant in the legal world. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I've asked some that are and talked to some judges about that. And they said, look, you're going to have to go in and lay out a well planned out case and a well planned out defense for the position that you've got. They did that. Tom Mars is a good attorney. William Liston is a good attorney. They were prepared. And as I understand it, Judge Whitwell was not entirely pleased with the counsel for the NCAA, who apparently left before the reading of the verdict. That's how poorly it went for the NCAA today, that they didn't even hang around for that. And I don't know if he was serious when he said that he might consider contempt of court, but there aren't many attorneys that like hearing that from a judge.
It really, and just just not sticking around for the ruling. That was, that's kind of hard to wrap my head around, Richard, more than anything.
The Ole Miss basketball team stayed on the court until the final horn last night, even though the outcome of that ball game was determined long before the final second ticked off. That I think that's how you're supposed to do it. I don't think even if you're not going to get the ruling you want, that you just pack up and say, see you later. I got to be honest. I was not following this in real time. My family's had some things going on this afternoon, so I was trying to kind of keep up with the updates. Did Judge Whitwell make a joke that maybe they were headed to Knoxville to try and fight their next case that they were going to lose?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations,
yes.
Joey Aguilar.
Well timed. How about the significance of this for the Ole Miss football team? Keep in mind, this time a year ago, we weren't talking about Trinidad, but now that we know what he brings to the table, what do you think the significance this is going to have for Pete's first full team?
Well, it's massive. You know that pretty much every team in the SEC is one injury at quarterback from the season changing dramatically. And I think that's what most people thought was going to be the case when you saw the injury that Austin Simmons dealt with in week 2 against Kentucky. And then Chambliss comes in and he plays pretty well. For people that had been really paying attention and had kind of watched some of the scrimmages and talked to some of the coaches, they liked him a lot. But he had only played football at the Division II level, obviously a winner at that level, but nobody had really seen what he was capable of. And then for the first 2 or 3 weeks that he played, you look at it and you're like, well, but when's reality going to set in? Is it going to set in when he faces LSU? Now it's the first real true road game, and they've got to go to Athens, one of the most difficult, and all they did was score on the first 5 possessions, touchdowns on the first 5 possessions of the game. Obviously, that one got away in the fourth quarter, but it was more about the defense than it was the offense. And so he just kept clearing hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. And you got to a point in the season where it was like, okay, there's no debate. This guy can play. So if you roll that toward 2026, obviously, without Trinidad Chambliss, you have an incredibly inexperienced quarterback room where Deuce Knight presumably is the starter, and you're trying to scramble and see if you can go find another Trinidad Chambliss somewhere that maybe has been overlooked in the recruiting process. With him returning, now you've got stability and continuity at that position. You've got a guy that's an incredible leader whose teammates have rallied around him, and you team him up with one of the, if not the best, one of the 2 or 3 best running backs in the SEC with Kejuan Lacey returning. It's a good feeling for Ole Miss fans, and I would imagine that Pete Golding will sleep tonight better than he has probably since he got the Ole Miss job.
And add on to that what he did on the portal and the retention, and it surprised me a little bit, honestly, Richard. Did what he did recruiting wise and portal wise at all surprise you?
That's an interesting way that you asked that. I don't think I'm surprised with what Pete did and his staff did from a recruiting standpoint, but I am a little surprised that at what Lane Kiffin's staff was not able to do, because I think they believed, and this isn't too big of a stretch, that they were going to be able to take significant pieces as they wanted off of the Ole Miss roster. I think there's a lot of credit that goes to this combination of the Grove Collective and the university working together and being really competitive in the NIL. They're not as splashy as maybe an LSU is right now, or a couple of other schools in terms of, everybody's saying that that's going to be a $40 million roster. But they've quietly done what they needed to do really since the NIL era began to kind of build it to this point. So to me, the surprise was maybe that you didn't have more players leave, but I don't think you can overstate what that run meant in the playoffs. So you win the game against Tulane, and everybody expects that to be the case. Yeah. And then you're able to kind of get everybody moving in the right direction, and you play this really good game, this really compelling and entertaining game against Georgia, and you win it. Well, now guys aren't going to jump into the portal at that point because there's another game to play, and you're a win away from playing for a national championship. And so the longer that went on, the longer this new coaching staff was in place to talk to these guys, to build relationships, to kind of build some confidence in how they were going to run the program. I think the deeper those bonds got and the harder it got to pull away. And you had a couple of key guys that relatively early in that kind of playoff run said, hey, I'm coming back. And then you got a little bit of momentum in the locker room. Guys are getting deals, and they were doing some good things in the transfer portal. So that's kind of what Pete Golding has done, though. I mean, you go back to his time at Alabama. I know there are a lot of Alabama fans that weren't necessarily the biggest fan of what he did as a defensive coordinator, but I don't think anybody could dispute what he was able to do as a recruiter and on the recruiting trail. If there's one thing that Pete Golding does well, and I think there are a lot of things that people are going to see that he does well, but if there's one thing he does well, it has been recruiting really for the entirety of his career.
So I was told that Pete did most of the recruiting when Lane was there. And he had a special bond with all those kids because of that. And when the rumors started about Lane Kiffin, a lot of the people in Ole Miss were worried, but a lot of them weren't, because they thought Pete would get the job and they'd be fine. And that's what looked like to be happening. I was surprised that he was able to keep everything. And then to me, I think they might be the favorite to go to Atlanta right now, based on what they have. And now that Chambliss is coming back, why wouldn't they be?
Well, I wouldn't dispute the things that you were told. The only thing that I might push back on a little bit is the idea that once it became obvious that Lane was leaving, that it was just going to be Pete and everybody was good with that. That was a late development. I think there was if the timeline had not played out the way it did, I think there was a very, very real chance that John Sumrall would be the head coach at Ole Miss today. But because the timeline played out and it got to the point where Auburn was applying pressure to get their job done, Florida was kind of turning up the screws to get it done with Sumrall, it may have limited the options a little bit. And I don't know that Keith Carter and Ole Miss had really explored deeply what a Pete Golding permanent head coach might look like. And then when Pete this is what I've been told, and this was from people pretty close to the situation, once Pete had the opportunity to sit down, to lay out his plan for running a program, and specifically the way he would run the Ole Miss program, Keith Carter was away and felt very good about the decision, not just because it was convenient or fast, but because he really believed in kind of what Pete was selling to him and the way that Pete would sell the program. The other things you said, I don't know that I would push back on. There are going to be some really good teams in the SEC, and Ole Miss has got a schedule next year that is far more difficult than the one they played this year. But I don't think anybody's going to concede anything at this point either.
I would be surprised if the winner of the SEC doesn't have 2 losses next year.
Whew. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. And, man, that's what makes it so much fun.
On the up,
I guess.
So, talking to Richard Cross right now, and truth be told, a lot has, just to rip the Band-Aid off, just to let you know, I call games for UAH Charger basketball, and we're in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and went on Highway 72, and wow, even up in Corinth and Iuka and Walnut, it is the devastation, the rebuild, and tell me a little bit about that in that regard of what's going on in the state of Mississippi from the ice storm 2.5 weeks ago now.
It's been a hard couple of weeks. Things are better today and seem to be getting better every day in Lafayette County and maybe the surrounding counties. So there are kind of two power systems. There's the City of Oxford Power, and then there's Northeast Power, which is a county cooperative. The city is completely back online from a power standpoint. There's still over 1,000 residents, though, that are served by Northeast Power that do not have electricity to their homes. And we're, as you said, 2.5 weeks past. So, 17 days at this point. We live in the middle of Oxford. We're in an older neighborhood, and it's interesting enough. Our neighborhood is kind of split, even being a mile from campus, where the front half of the neighborhood is on City Power, the back half is on Northeast that I was referencing a second ago. And we went 11 days without power at our house. Now, look, we were fine. We had a generator. There are people that were in far more difficult position than we were. But I think that gives a little bit of an illustration as to what the devastation was like. You guys know where you live, not entirely different from where we live. Snow, maybe we don't do great with it, but no big deal. Even sleet, not that big of a deal. But when you get the freezing rain that attaches to the branches and the needles of those pine trees, those things start snapping. It sounds like shotguns that are going off in the middle of the night. If you've got a hollowed out oak tree that gets some moisture inside, it freezes, it causes it to almost explode. And that happened all over Lafayette County. And, it was kind of really from the central part of the Mississippi Delta over on the river, diagonally to the northeast corner of Mississippi. And that was kind of so if you want to take like a right triangle, the upper left-hand corner of the state of Mississippi was most affected. And Oxford was right in the middle of that. And, I was in Nashville the Saturday after the storm, so 6 days later. And, there are a lot of people that talked about how bad it was in Nashville. It didn't even begin to compare to what things looked like in and around Oxford. And I think you guys you've seen the Grove before. There are obviously a lot of trees out there. There are a lot of trees on the Ole Miss campus, and really all the towns like that. And so it's been hard, but man, people have been incredibly resilient. As you know, sometimes when you get difficult situations that are especially tied to natural disasters, you see the best in people. Now there's, you get a little impatient, you get a little frustrated, but the whole neighbors helping neighbors, friends helping friends thing was very real. And if there was a good part of it, that was it, to get to see that folks just kind of banding together. And, the most common question was, hey, what do you need? How can I help? And it was nice to see that. But it's also nice to have the power back, and nice to get campus going again and town going again, and starting to feel like springtime as we, crazily enough, get ready for the start of college baseball tomorrow and get this stretch running basketball season.
Well, and a little bit of normalcy last night as well.
Yeah.
Albeit Alabama winning last night in Oxford, but it did feel a little therapeutic, at least from just seeing the fans there. It just in the pavilion.
Yeah, it was good to get back. Ole Miss had been almost 3 weeks since the home game. They had one game that got rescheduled or kind of flipped. They had Vanderbilt on the schedule twice, and so they ended up going to Nashville, part of a 4-game road trip. And so I think it was good for everybody to be back home. And Ole Miss played well enough in the first half. Man, that second half, that was about as vintage Nate Oates basketball as you can get. 61 points on the board after being held to a season low in the first half. They scored 32 in the first half, and
that's right.
They hang 61 and hit 12 threes, and Wrightsell had a monster night. And I actually thought it was a fairly quiet night for LeBaron Philon, and you look up at the end and you're like, oh, wow, he still was in, 15, 16, 17 points. And, Sherelle had some really big plays. I thought there was a sequence in the second half where they got Sherelle slashing to the basket, and he's able to finish at the rim. They kept the possession alive, kicked it out. He hits a three, and then he kind of gets to the rim and gets to the free throw line. And it's like with this Alabama team, even on a night where for 20 or 25 minutes they don't shoot it well, they're never out of the game, especially if they're within striking distance. And it's a close game because it's like a turnover turns into a basket, turns into a 7-0 or 11-0 run in the blink of an eye with this team.
Yeah. I was honestly a little bit surprised that all the road teams won. Not surprised that Florida won, but was very
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, you know what? You're exactly right, Richard. But
the midweek was 6-0 for road teams this week. I don't know the last time that happened.
Well, last year you could book it. The home teams were winning. But Missouri, what they did at Texas A&M, and that was really impressive. I watched quite a bit of that right after the Bama game.
Yeah, Dennis Gates has done a good job with that. And there are times when you've looked at Missouri this year and thought, not very good. And then they pull that off because I like what Bucky McMillan's doing. I think that's a fun style that A&M's playing. The only thing that concerns me, they were so good out of the gate, is does that style of basketball where you're pressing for 40 minutes defensively and it's like you're trying to play the same style that Alabama and Georgia are playing offensively, does that take its toll over the course of a 16-game SEC season and just kind of take it to the point where maybe you don't have quite as much in your legs as opposed to a team that – and I guess the difference would be you look at Alabama and that's what they do offensively. But they don't press you that way on the defensive end. They get back, they get into some half-court sets. They'll try to turn you over and run when there's an option. But it's not up and down the floor on both ends for 40 minutes. That's what A&M does, and that's a grind.
That's a very fair question, too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very fair. I was surprised a little bit because one team that I had fun watching early – including that road win at Texas, was Mississippi State. And, boy, they're having a hard time stopping anything defensively.
And really it's a double-edged sword. And honestly, it's a fairly similar conversation with when you talk about Ole Miss. Not only can they not stop anybody, they can't score. I mean, they scored 64 last night in a loss, and I think Josh Hubbard had, 31 or 32.
Yeah, 31.
There's been a couple of games where Hubbard has not played as well, and they've lost. And maybe you've had some other guys step up. They haven't been able to put it together, though, where Hubbard gives you, let's say, 24, and then they've got three other guys that are in double figures, and they have a good night defensively. And which, I mean, obviously that's a pretty good recipe for success, whether you're talking about Mississippi State or any of the other 15 teams in the league. But it's been tough. And, the crazy thing is you think about the first couple of years for Chris Jans at Mississippi State, it was kind of a hard watch, but it was personnel driven. They were tenacious on the defensive end. And then they may not have scored a lot and weren't great from the outside, but they could bang on you down low. They could get points in the paint. They could make it ugly, and they could win those close games. But a team that's been to the NCAA tournament every year that Chris Jans has been there. And now they're sitting at 3-8 in the league and 2 games under 500 at 11-13. And then you look down the road in Oxford, and that's the exact same scenario. Ole Miss, a Sweet 16 team a year ago, a completely different roster. 2 guys that were on that team that are even on the team this year, much less playing, and they're 3-8. It's a pretty unforgiving league, and whereas a year ago, with Sean Padula in particular, Ole Miss did not miss in the transfer portal. This year they did. They added 2 or 3 pieces that a lot of people wanted and cost a lot of money, and it hasn't worked out. I mean, James Scott has given them 3 points and 4 rebounds. Corin Johnson hasn't given them anything in terms of scoring. Keza Jiffa has been just kind of average. And if you miss, and that may be a little harsh, but I mean, I think it's fair on 3 guys in the portal that you've got significant money invested in, that's a problem. You're not going to win games, and you're going to try to rebuild it again in the offseason and see what that looks like.
Well, I can't help but think that tomorrow, a little therapy, if you will, some good news with this ruling from Fort Trinidad Chambliss for the state of Mississippi.
That and 70 degrees and sunny for the opening day of the college baseball season. In Oxford, there will be in the neighborhood, not an exaggeration, there will be in the neighborhood of 10,000 people at Ole Miss's season opener. In Starkville, I'm going to say that number tomorrow is north of 13,000 for game 1 of the Brian O'Connor era at Mississippi State.
Wow. Since you've gone there a couple of times, any early thoughts on Ole Miss baseball? Is something we need to be on the lookout for Ole Miss?
Come on, you guys don't care about baseball.
I'm asking, but I
know. I appreciate the question. I've joked with a lot of my friends in Alabama. It's like, okay, once the SEC tournament rolls around, people lock in a little bit. No, I actually like Auburn's team a lot. I love what Butch has done on the Plains. I like where Alabama's headed with the pieces that they've got in place. I think Rob's done a great job there. News flash, the SEC is going to be really, really good in baseball.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has probably the best returning starter in Hunter Elliott, who is roughly 38 years old at this point. And yet he is back again for Ole Miss to lead that rotation. Ole Miss kind of a lineup that's going to be boom or bust, or at least it feels like that. They may have 4 guys in that order that could potentially hit 20 home runs. But when you've got a lineup like that, you're going to have some strikeouts that pile up as well. Mississippi State crushed it in the portal. The expectations are sky high there. But, I mean, you start looking around the league, you're like, oh, LSU's number 2. Oh, Texas is 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Mississippi State's 4. Oh, Arkansas 6. The list just goes on and on. I love Southeastern Conference baseball. It's a little bit of a sickness for me, and I'm excited that it's here. It's a fun time of the year.
And a change in Tennessee up on Rocky Top as well.
Ooh.
So, we'll see how things go up there without Tony V.
Yeah, and I think Elander's got a chance to be really good. He's a good baseball mind. I saw the price tag on the Lindsey Nelson Stadium renovation expansion.
I missed that. What was it?
$105 million, I think, was the number that they spent. All right, so comparison. Duty Noble, the redo that they did at Mississippi State, which is nobody argues. I don't even think Ole Miss fans argue. It is by far the best college baseball stadium in the country. It's an absolute palace. They spent $65 million on that less than a decade ago. Tennessee just spent more than that on a stadium that's half the size that was not a complete teardown and rebuild. It's incredible.
I personally, of all I did see the wall seats, kind of the little mini Fenway that they did at Plainsman Park, which is kind of a cool feature down there at Auburn. But yes, we're talking baseball here in the state of Alabama, and it's all good. Rich.
Some of us are.
Hey, I tried to give you an off ramp there. You didn't take it.
No. I like hearing it. I like hearing it. I'm thinking about just going to all the baseball stadiums now. Sounds like it'd be a cool. I've been to Auburn's actually last year. Sat in the Broadway group section. It was awesome.
The renovation that they did at Plainsman Park is phenomenal. I mean, no surprise there with John Cohen running the department. He was such a big part of what Mississippi State did with their baseball renovation. I thought they didn't try to do too much with Auburn. Like, they made it work within the footprint. Obviously, from a real estate standpoint, there's limited space to go out because of the road right there behind the first base side and, to go beyond the right field wall and the left field wall. I thought with the footprint that they had to work with, that was a spectacular renovation. But we can dive deeper into baseball stadiums another day.
It's a lot going on in the state of Mississippi, and one person following it all there is Richard Cross. Thank you so much for the time, sir.
Always enjoy the visit. Thanks, guys.
Richard Cross from Super Talk, Mississippi, and quite a bit going on in the state of Mississippi. Most notably, a couple of hours ago, in the Mississippi judge ruling in favor of Trinidad Chambliss, that he is indeed going to have another year of eligibility there for the Ole Miss Rebels, and what will be the first full season for Pete.
One question I should have asked is, will the NCAA even appeal this? Doesn't sound like they are.
Doesn't feel like it, especially with them leaving before the judge completes his ruling as well. So, yeah.
That's nuts. I just can't get over that.
Scoreboard update for you here from Memphis, Tennessee. The UAH women lead it here at CBU 29-18. 2.5 minutes left to go before halftime. We need to take our first time out. Phone line's open to you on the other side if you'd like to partake in this Thursday edition of The Drive right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers, up to $10,000 off. New 25 Bronco Sport start under $27,000. That's right, just $26,800 after a $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. New 25 Broncos start at just $36,500. That's $36,500 after the $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. All these offers with your good credit, and we hope to see you soon at Lynn Leighton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnleightonford.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
My point is that I think Code Reds still go on down here.
The Tom Abraham Show.
You can have all the transfer orders that you want, but you have to ask me nicely.
Weekdays at 10 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and on WZZN TV on YouTube.
– 29-20 is your halftime score, I think. No, a foul administered to UAH, so I don't know what they're going to do. 29-20, though, is the score up on the scoreboard with 0.2 on the clock here in Memphis, Tennessee. UAH Charger basketball coming up here tonight on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So the schedule for Ole Miss, now that we know that Trinidad Chambliss will be wearing an Ole Miss jersey, let's just go through the SEC schedule. They start out non-conference in Nashville, taking on Louisville, then a home game against Charlotte, then the SEC schedule with LSU on September the 19th.
There won't be anybody at that game, will there?
Yeah, I imagine that'll be a night game just for Lane Kiffin, as much as he complained about the lack of night games there in Oxford, Mississippi. Then at Florida.
And that would be 2 years in a row that they play LSU in Oxford.
That's right. That's right. At Florida the following week, then at Vanderbilt, host Missouri, at Texas. Boy, Richard wasn't lying.
They played Nashville twice, right? In the first 4 or 5 games.
Different venues, but you're right.
Yeah.
With Louisville on September the 5th, and then the Commodores on October the 10th, then host Missouri at Texas, host Auburn on Halloween of all days, October 31st. Give Dan Mullen a chance to dress up as Darth Vader again out in Las Vegas. Then they host Georgia on November the 7th, at Oklahoma on November the 14th, and then they host Wofford, and then they host the Egg Bowl on November the 27th, which I believe is a Friday, I want to say. From, I think they moved that to Black Friday. I'm double checking that as I'm speaking. Yeah, that is a Friday game. So a quicker turnaround after the Wofford game, but should be. But I tell you, that's at least from what the pieces that we know are coming back, be it at Oklahoma, at Georgia. We don't know a whole lot about Auburn, honest. I don't know a whole lot about Auburn.
How do you know a whole lot about anybody? I mean, I can.
From the pieces that are coming back is my point.
Well, yeah, but everybody lost a lot of players. Everybody. Now they got a lot coming in.
Yeah.
But who knows who's going to put the pieces of this together? I mean, you look at, to me, it's, you give the nod to the people with a returning starter, right? If this returning starter was any good.
Yeah.
So you got Georgia and Ole Miss. To me, who else?
Texas has.
There you go, Texas. Yeah, and they've spent a lot of money in the portal.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think Texas will be? I agree with that.
I didn't really buy into the hype of Texas last spring, although they spent a ton of money. It was reported $40
Texas
million.
Was a pretty good football team. Now, I mean, they lost 3 games, and one of them in the first game was the highest. I mean, they lost to teams that made the the thing I think got Texas more than anything, and is the overtime wins. They won 2 overtime wins, one to Mississippi State and one. And to me, with 3 losses, if they didn't have those, they might have snuck in possibly, because Ohio State being one of the losses, and Georgia, well, they got their butts whipped over at Georgia, and Alabama beating out Georgia at Georgia, and them getting whipped like that was kind of, to me, was the nail in the coffin. They didn't want to believe it, but I knew it was over then. you know that's. But you look at Texas if they can shore up their offensive line, because I mean Georgia just whipped them up front. They didn't have a chance in that game, and. You know, I haven't looked at the portal of Georgia. I hope to get to go to another practice like I did last year, because when you can go to it, just one practice, and it doesn't mean that they won't get better. Like I was wrong. I mean, I picked what Alabama their losses would be, but I didn't. It wasn't for the reasons that I thought. You know, but you can get a good feel for a team, and. You know, there's no way you can go to 16 practices. I don't think I can get in that many places, but hopefully this spring I'll be able to get around a little bit. Now that I have ends at 3 places, 4 places really. Yeah.
So, do you want to do a spring tour? I mean, that way we can hit baseball stadiums as well. Do you want to do the spring tour?
You know, we might figure something out. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, on the subject of what you mentioned there with Texas taking on Ohio State right out of the gate, there was a story that began late last week off of some guy who precedes us, but it's now being reported by Yahoo Sports that Alabama is expected to cancel their Ohio State agreement.
Well, yeah, I'd be shocked. I mean, how are they going to – I don't even know how they'd be able to play it, and why would they anyway now at this point? I mean, pretty much if Texas –
It cost Texas.
Yeah,
it cost Texas.
You can look at it any way you want, but it did cost Texas. And the fact that Alabama now is there, look at their schedule now, and why would you want to do it? I wouldn't do it. I think it's ridiculous. And I would have said the opposite. If they hadn't gone to 9 games, I'd be mad if they did cancel. But now they've gone to 9 games, and the way
pretty much have to.
Yeah, and you know, I thought the committee came through at the end, but kind of not really. I mean, everybody acts like Texas Tech was all that, and they were better. I mean, they were a very competitive team, and I thought deserved to make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. But just barely because of their schedule strength. I mean, how can you have a schedule strength and compare a team that's in 7 and a team that's in over 70?
If someone were to try to convince me that Texas Tech was better than Texas,
I'd
have a hard time buying that. I'd have a very hard time buying that. I'd have a hard time buying that Texas Tech was better than Vanderbilt last year.
And I don't have a problem. You know, they want to play these put 16 in the playoffs and 18 and 24 for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Forget all that. Just put the ones that are close and have them play for the opportunity to get it. You know what I'm saying? My coach
John
said,
Gruden.
John Gruden. Do it like that when it's on December 5th, and make them home games. Somebody or you know, do it then. And then have the 12 teams and just keep it at 12. Really, I like to do that and go to 8 almost, but I don't think that'll ever happen now. So, with the money crunch happening now, they need to do something. There's no doubt. You know, you see the report where Alabama lost $48 million on every sport except for football, which made $69 million, and the basketball
I think men's
team
basketball
made $9 million.
Also,
and that's the only 2 things. So how are they going to keep that up in NIL? It's not going to happen.
It's really not.
No, and they've been hinting at this, but it's going to come down the pipe. It's just a matter of time. When people get tired, you know, the number one revenue also in that $69 million in football is donations. And so you go take that away, and it gets even worse. So, yeah, this is not a sustainable model.
It really is.
And then people say, "Well, you need to cut football," then it all goes away. nothing. I mean, without football, nothing makes it. I mean,
I got nothing else to add because you're spot on.
Yeah, I mean, if they take football away, it's gone. And if they start losing at these big programs, it's gone. Nobody's going to support a loser. I mean, and what's happened is the worst thing in the world that can happen. Nobody cares about academics anymore, and the alumni have more control. Could there be a worse thing happen?
No.
And I'm an alumni, so I'm just telling you. But, you know, as Coach Stallings said, and he said it right, when you start listening to the fans,
you'll become one.
You'll be sitting beside it if it's before it's over with. And
just,
you know, and you know, it's kind of, and I got a lot of guys that are friends of mine for a lot of different universities that give money. And I think what they do is really good. And I'm not accusing any of these guys being the guys that do this. But some guys like to act like they do more than they really do, right? They're giving their money and they're making decisions. Well, all of a sudden they start losing. Well, that's kind of egg on their face. And they first thing they want to do is fire the coach.
Yeah.
Make it his fault. So and I think the coaches carousel is going to get worse and worse and worse. Especially what happens if Lane Kiffin, and I don't think he will. Lane has
say it.
Yeah,
say it.
Well,
say it.
Yeah.
I want you to finish that thought. Say it. Say it.
Say Lane starts going for it again, like he did. Like I watched him. FAU had the best team the second year and had a losing season. And on 5 of those games, they should have won. But they lost because they kept going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
And we saw them do that at Ole Miss 2 years ago, where, you know, they all 3 losses, they had 5 times in the red zone, didn't score a point. Where if they kick a field goal any of those 5 times, they win the game. Because 2 of those went to overtime, and they lost. So, or to the final seconds and lost by a field goal. So you start looking at that. I've seen it, and you saw it this year with LSU. They were close in all those early games and close, you know, almost beat Oklahoma to Oklahoma. But we'll see. We'll see how he does. Getting
what do you think?
New players is amazing.
Yeah. What do you think worst case scenario is for Lane Kiffin in year 1?
Oh, I don't know. He had the best portal class. Everybody agrees on that. So will he be able to put it together?
The ego.
Yeah, well,
the egos. And not just the players. I mean, the egos.
Well, I think,
around.
Well, he has nothing coming back much, right? So he lost a lot of players as well. So he's dealing with a whole new team. So I don't know if he can put that together. I think I think his offensive coordinator is one of the best in the country. He's proven that.
He was on display for everybody to kind of oogle over.
Yeah, I think the defensive coordinator is going to be one of the highest. They're paying the defensive coordinator over $3 million a year.
That's right.
So
they start out at Ole Miss and then home versus Texas A&M. That's their first 2 SEC games. And at least I know more about what's coming back at Texas A&M. And
Texas A&M is going to be very good. They got one of Alabama's best receivers. They got a tackle, but they had one of the best portal classes as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think everybody right now got better, right? But you throw some losses in there, and then some people get hurt, and we know what happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's I think Auburn got better coaching wise, but I
would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but
although it doesn't seem to be the talent
No.
a step back.
But the record could be better though. I think.
I
I
don't disagree.
So it's going to be interesting as it's, that's why in one way it's interesting because everybody has a box of chocolates. I mean, everybody.
Well, the third SEC game that LSU plays is at Kentucky. Is there one team that I don't know if, although the portal class looked to be really good for Coach Stein, but I don't know a thing about
it's hard to
Kentucky.
How do you know it doesn't take but one weak link in the offensive line.
That's it.
One weak link. We saw that with Alabama. I thought they had three very good offensive linemen last year, really almost four. And
the ats for LSU this year is at Ole Miss, at Kentucky, at Auburn, at Tennessee, and at Arkansas. So
not too bad, really.
Not awful.
Yeah.
Not awful. But again, Arkansas, that's another, I don't know. I really, I think I know.
I don't see how they could be much better.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Lynn Leighton Ford, located online at lynnleightonford.com.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers, up to $10,000 off. New 25 Bronco Sport start under $27,000. That's right, just $26,800 after a $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. New 25 Broncos start at just $36,500. That's $36,500 after the $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. All these offers with your good credit, and we hope to see you soon at Lynn Leighton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnleightonford.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month, up to $15 at participating locations. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Newmarket and Hampton Cove, and our new location, now open in Hartselle at 200 Main Street West, downtown. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
AL cert number 21014.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
Thomas, I need you guys to light my flame sensor.
Excuse me?
Yeah, my gas valve's not flowing, buddy.
What do y'all need over there?
Oh, I need you to exchange my heat exchanger.
You don't have to speak the love language of a furnace to call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning. We can come out and do a $49 tune-up, and you'll get savings off of that, and we'll be able to figure out what's going on with your system.
Can you keep my flame lit this Valentine's Day?
We can definitely keep your flame lit.
Who do I gotta call?
Call Talent at 256-503-4490.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
That was weird.
It's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. Give them a call today.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. A mostly clear skies expected for this Wednesday night across the Tennessee Valley. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 30s for the overnight tonight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll continue to see plenty of sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 50s for the afternoon. Rain returns back to the forecast on Saturday.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking college football news. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has been granted an extra year of eligibility by a state court judge, paving the way for him to be eligible for the Rebels in 2026. The hearing came after the NCAA denied Chambliss's request for a 6th year of eligibility about a month ago. The U.S. men's Olympic hockey team, in its first preliminary round game, got 2 goals from Brock Nelson. Brothers Jack and Quinn Hughes combined for 4 assists in a 5-1 win over Latvia. North Carolina star forward Caleb Wilson out indefinitely with a fractured left hand. He's a projected top 5 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Lakers will be without point guard Luka Doncic a 4th straight game tonight against the Mavericks due to a strained hamstring. After missing the last game with left foot arthritis, LeBron James returns for Los Angeles. ESPN NBA reporter Dave McMenamin.
This Lakers group had kind of built some momentum before this Luka Doncic injury, and they're hoping they can go into the All-Star break on a high note by getting a win against the Mavericks. LeBron will be at the All-Star game. He hasn't played as much in recent years. I would expect him to be playing, certainly unless something happens tonight against Dallas.
Dallas rookie Cooper Flagg left midfoot sprain, won't play tonight or in tomorrow's NBA Rising Stars game. That at 9 Eastern on ESPN Radio. All-Star game coverage is Sunday at 4 Eastern on ESPN Radio. After straining his right hamstring for the second time in less than 4 weeks, Oklahoma City forward Jalen Williams won't play tonight against the Bucks. Will be reevaluated after the All-Star break. The Phillies released outfielder Nick Castellanos.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, whether it's the new All-Star format or the three-point contest, I'll tell you what you should be watching and listening to during All-Star Weekend. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
.97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Scoreboard update for you for UH Charger women's basketball. They lead it now 32-21 here at Christian Brothers. We'll have coverage on the men's side coming up here in about 30 minutes' time, walking you up to tip-off, which is scheduled for 7 o'clock. That last part of the Sports Center update, I completely forgot about, Wes, and that is NBA All-Star Weekend. I just
Has the NBA started yet?
Yeah. There is. So when I put the schedule together, we're an ESPN Radio affiliate for those that don't know. Hence the top of the hour Sports Centers. So they listed the NBA All-Star game as this: round robin G1, round robin G2, round robin G3, and then the championship game. I have no idea what the All-Star game is going to do on Sunday. I know what I'm not going to do, which I barely watched the All-Star game back in the day. I mean, mid-'80s, late '90s, or early '90s. I really enjoyed the three-point contest and more of the skills competition more than anything. But the All-Star game, I know they're trying to generate something, but what does that mean?
You have no idea.
We'll have it. I have no idea. All I know is it's round robin G1. I would assume game 1, round robin game 2, and round robin game 3. But that's all I know. That's all I know about
what does that
the All-Star game.
I mean, so they're going to have multiple teams?
So you can listen Sunday beginning at 3 o'clock right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So there you go. There's your tease there. The big news of the day, SportsCenter led it off with it, and we actually led off the show with it with Trinidad Chambliss as the Mississippi judge just eviscerated the NCAA. In fact, what did Ross Dellinger say exactly? It was the NCAA breached its duty of good faith and acted in bad faith. That is Judge Robert Whitwell, who did rule in favor of Trinidad Chambliss, who now has an extra year of eligibility for the Ole Miss Rebels. The judge says that the NCAA ignored evidence from Ferris State University over Chambliss's illness in 2022, and the court finds that he was clearly physically unfit that season to play college football on any level. Of course, that'd be the Division II level that I'm sure that the judge is speaking of in Judge Robert Whitwell. So went through that story pretty good last hour with Richard Cross and see what kind of comes of that here in 2026. But we're all of the belief now that Ole Miss does have their starting quarterback with playoff experience, significant playoff experience coming back for the Ole Miss Rebels. Last week, we did not get to this. The Southeastern Conference revenue shared, and it went $1.03 billion to its member institutions. And I think this was a couple of years ago down on the beach, we were speculating in the neighborhood of 80-ish. Well, the exact number per school is $72.4 million per school. That is a jump up from $53.8 million from the previous year to $72.4 million this go around. And we kind of went into the Alabama revenue a little bit with football making $64 million, men's basketball making $9 million, but everybody else losing money, including men's track and field that lost $3 million, women's track and field that lost $3 million, baseball lost $4 million, and women's basketball lost $4.7 million. And it's those sports, those non-revenue generating sports, that if we keep chugging along down these tracks, Wes, there's no way to keep them. No. There's no way to keep them.
And then you'll have, when that happens, you'll finally have some people open their eyes. But like always, it'll be too late.
Reactionary rather than trying to get ahead.
And now you got to give. I know a lot of people are on the current SEC commissioner, but he's been talking about it.
He has.
And he is
the Olympic sports.
He's been ringing the alarm now it'll be 2 years in May when it started.
I know. I told everybody during the show, I think this was after we talked to Richard Hendricks on Tuesday, I did email the commissioner. I did hear back from the commissioner, and he just wanted to pass along those conversations, so I did so. And gave him Mac Brown's number as well as Richard Hendricks' number, because I thought they had some good points to talk about of how to handle collective bargaining, which feels like that is the real avenue,
the only avenue. Maybe the only avenue.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think, yes, I don't know. I had a small hope that there was something could do in Congress, but you watch Congress now, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah. No. Not anytime soon. It really, and I hate that.
Well, the only way they'll do anything, they figure out how to make money from it. what it looks like to me. I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah. Any of the numbers of the breakdown surprise you in terms of sports that are losing money? How about women's basketball losing $4.7 million?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. But so the way you want to look at it, kind of, is that between the women and the men, they're netting $5 million. That's the only way I can look at it. Because if you have the men's sports, you have to have the women's sports. But that just seems like it's just way too much. How can you lose $4.5 million?
Softball lost $2.5 million.
Yeah, see, all that's surprising to me, because the SEC network, and I don't know how.
I think Patrick Murphy just got a bump up in salary. I think that's probably a good chunk of that change.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd love to see a breakdown of all of it, to be honest with you. I would. I mean, I know you can't. Nothing gets the attention like that little article right there, right?
Yeah.
So I know you can't go through I'd like to get in the weeds, though. I'd love to get in the. That'd be awesome.
Well,
but I don't believe they'll let
me. This was put out on social media by a good friend of the program, and Ryan Fowler. Men's golf lost $1.3 million. Women's golf lost $1.5 million. So if you want to add that up together, men's and women's. Women's tennis lost $1 million. Gymnastics lost $2.3 million. Soccer lost $2.4 million. This is all at Alabama. And women's rowing lost $3.2 million. Goodness. What's going on with rowing? But again, that's an Olympic sport. So these are the Olympic sports. The only one I don't know about too much is the non-program specific sports. I guess the club teams, I'm guessing.
Why would they give them money, though? I don't think that could be.
It just says non-program specific. I'm guessing. They collectively lost $4.3 million. So they're collectively not doing too much for the bottom line right there.
No.
Baseball lost $4.4 million. I believe I already said that. But, yeah, the revenue, though, with the television contracts and the revenue sharing did go up a good bit to $1.03 billion. And that's going to go up even more because of a ninth conference game.
Right.
So this goes right in lockstep with trying to generate more revenue to keep these sports that are not creating anything. In fact, losing money for these universities. But at some point, there is a tipping point. And
we're getting
I feel
close
like
to
it doesn't it? I know we've talked about it. It feels like for at least 5 years, Wes, but it does feel like this is a couple of years away of this is going to have to shut down. This is going to have to shut down. And I'm talking about at the SEC level. I'm not talking about at Sun Belt and, lower levels, let alone Gulf South and the Division II levels. So
what's going to cause them to lose everything is from when the football teams quit playing them. The smaller schools and where they get the big payday, that'll go away, and that's not good. So I've been preaching that. So that's something that's going to happen.
And a lot of good opportunities for a lot of kids to continue and pursue their dreams because not everybody peaks at the same time in high school, and men and women get. I think that's a perfect example. It's a perfect example.
And some of us don't peak in football or basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I hung out. Well, see, back in the day, I hung out with the guys at Jacksonville. I hung out with the rifle team, and they were always and they were
good people to be friends with.
Exactly. Or at least on this side of them.
Yeah.
So, hey, go down range and hold this.
Shot.
Put in a homeless piece of paper.
Can you hang this up? Can you hold this up for me?
Don't worry about it. I'm all right.
But
they would routinely send guys to the Olympic team. And,
that's right. Yeah.
And at like medal winners at the Jackson State shooting team. Some of my best friends, I wouldn't be friends with my friend Steve because he lived in Long Island, New York, and he got a scholarship to come to Jacksonville, Alabama to be on the shooting team. And so what are we going to do? Do we just not have any importance on the Olympic sports? Or
that's what's going to happen. Because what right now we have, and this is what the commissioner said to us. He says, we have a free Olympic training for all these Olympic athletes through the colleges.
But I understand. But have we lost the mindset that you need one big horse to pull the wagon? Do we do it just? Do we just take care of football because only football makes money, or does football make enough money for everybody?
Well, not everywhere. You're talking about one of the premier places, and you look at some of that. A lot of that money is donations,
right?
So,
yeah, what a whole lot of donations.
I'm all for the old system, but what's going to happen is will it always be able to pull the wagon?
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. That's the whole question.
At some point, there's not going to be any wagon.
Exactly.
And
I'm not for shutting any of these programs down.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not that. Don't get me wrong. I'm for all this. That's why I want them to change what's going on.
Right.
We do need to take our first time out. Final call for phone calls on the other side. I'll let you hear what Joe Judge had to say on the stand on the other side and what the judge had to tell Joe Judge on the stand on the other side as well.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Welcome to Kern Electrical, where teamwork powers every project. Our champion sales team takes time to understand your needs, tailoring the perfect Generac generator for your home or business. Our project managers handle all coordination, ensuring a tackle-free installation. Our certified installation crews ensure peace of mind, even in the darkest moments. With our service and maintenance lineups, you can be assured we're with you every step of the way. Experience the home team advantage of Kern Electrical, your Generac superstore.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Final call for phone calls. Entering into the fourth quarter. These ladies keep I'm telling you, the third quarter was impressive. UAH leads it here at Christian Brothers 56-35. They just keep they're a really impressive women's basketball team here at UAH. In fact, right now, they would be hosting a regional in the NCAA women's basketball tournament on the Division II level. If they keep this up, a big one on Saturday as well, and I'll have that coverage for you Saturday afternoon at Union with Charger basketball. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number, 256-576-4977 if you'd like to participate. The big news of the day is that Trinidad Chambliss won his hearing, and Joe Judge went to the stand today, and see whether or not you can hear this as well as I could during the break, Wes, but this was from Mudcat Media here in the state of Mississippi. You're welcome. Hey, that's just fun to say.
Can't make that
up.
But
no, you really can't. The judge, told Joe Judge.
Without your body being full ready to go, honestly, you're useless in professional life.
Can you slow down just a little bit? This lady's taking down everything you say.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And it might be moving at a little bit fast speed.
Where are you from originally?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
You've been here long enough now to know we talk a little bit slower. All right.
I'll do my best.
All right, thank you.
Talk a little slower.
So I didn't know he was from Philadelphia. I didn't know he was from Philadelphia.
I didn't know that either. But yeah, he spent plenty of time here in the state of Mississippi to slow it on down. But just it has been widely reported, and it is confirmed by Ross Dellinger that, yes, indeed, the lawyers for the NCAA did leave before the ruling was doled out by Judge Robert Whitwell. But they've got to get up to Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's hard not to think that they're going to swing and miss tomorrow as well.
Don't worry. It's all billable hours.
But it's hard not to think that we could be talking about another returning quarterback at another SEC school tomorrow up in Knoxville with Joey Aguilar. So I think that's very real.
Very possible, no doubt. But I haven't studied his case as much. I remember seeing his case and thinking that maybe his case might not be as good as the other ones. But I'm not 100%. I hadn't looked at it enough. I was just, when you see when you see a 6 year and injuries involved and all that.
Yeah.
And you
makes some sense.
Yeah. So, and you see the others, the way they react to it, the way they give these, they're giving a guy 7 years, 8 years, and you get 6 years. Yeah. Nine. It's nuts. And then, I thought that I'm not sure. I would love to hear what the NCAA gave for a reason, but obviously the judge, I thought it was a poor one, a very poor one to react like he did.
Well, especially with how he's reacting with the evidence from one of the member institutions, albeit Division II, but Ferris State University out of the state of Michigan, but Ferris State University completely complied and gave the full report illness-wise on why Trinidad was unable to play in the year 2022, and he was clearly physically unfit to play that season on any level to play college football. That from the judge, Robert Whitwell. That from the Twitter account of Ross Dellinger. If you want to read all of the tweets, it's at Ross Dellinger, who's been on the program as well, and he is turning into a little bit of a legal nut as well, as is Dan Murphy.
You have to have a lot of hats to be in the sports world right now, right?
You really do. Joe is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977, if you'd like to partake like Joe is. How are you, Joe?
Oh, doing great, Steve. How's everybody?
Good, good. Good to hear from you.
Oh, good to be here. No doubt about that. Hey, guys, I'm all for the kid Ole Miss getting an extra year, but some of this other crap that's going on is totally ridiculous. One quick question. Was the judge that ruled on the Mississippi State, Ole Miss deal, is he from Mississippi?
Oh, yeah.
State of Mississippi.
Oh, well,
he is a Mississippi judge.
Yeah, but did he?
But I don't know if he is. I'll do a quick search of that.
I guess it's a good thing he didn't graduate from Mississippi State, then, I guess. But anyway, or LSU. Hey, this NCAA deal with all these players now is lawyer heaven.
Oh, yeah. No question.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to see billboards with Alexander Shinara saying, "Call me, Alabama. I'll get you 2 more years."
Well, if he could have got represented Beniaco pro bono and got him where he could play, he got a lot more business.
Judge Whitwell earned his bachelor's degree from Delta State University and then received his graduate degree from the University of Mississippi.
Yep.
How about that?
Well, he is Mississippi through and through.
I think the judge for had to recuse himself in the Alabama deal because he had given money to him.
The original judge.
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
original judge, yeah.
Okay, now while we're on Beniaco, whatever his name is, was he still under contract with the NBA, G League, or whatever you call it?
He signed a 2-way deal, so yes, he had a 2-way contract, but he was testing out the eligibility because of the amount of international players that they are considered pro leagues in the international side, and they get paid like they are professionals, but it's not on the highest. It's not an NBA contract. They deem the NBA as the highest level of playing basketball. So there's over 1,800 players in Division I men's and women's basketball that are international. So
right, I understand all that, but what's the 2-way contract?
Okay, so I just learned this the other day, Joe. That's a good question. So a 2-way contract means that you have a contract with the NBA and the G League, and they can call you up from the G League to go to the NBA. But he never was called up, so that was the argument. Was he had a contract, but he never fulfilled it because he never played in the NBA.
Correct.
Okay.
And so what's the difference between that and the players playing
the international who also gets paid to play professional basketball,
exactly,
even though it is not on the highest level?
Well, okay.
That is the argument.
a senior at Alabama being called up to play in the NBA All-Star game. That's a stretch, obviously. But
well, I
think the biggest thing to me is what's the daggum difference. There is no difference. Either you play an NBA game or you don't. And I've always thought these guys that enter the draft and don't get drafted should be able to come back.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What's the difference? Yeah. And so
baseball and other sports do
they
it.
keep changing these rules and then arbitrarily. So it's almost better, just like everything else, to be from a foreign country than from here. And I have no problem with these kids coming over and going to college and getting an education and doing it. But you shouldn't be punished because
you're American.
Yes, and I have a huge problem with that.
Well, we've been punished a long time because we're USA guys. You know that. So anyway, one last thing is, how in the hell do you spend $3 million on a women's rowing team?
Well, because you're giving them scholarships, and you have to because it's Title IX. That's why there's not a men's rowing team. You see what I'm saying? There's not a men's rowing team. It's club. The women's rowing team is not club because of NIL, because they count football players count, even though it's one sport. You got to have the same amount of women, which I'm all for. I'm all for it. But
I don't have a problem with that either.
No,
Wes. But how many damn women does it take to row a boat?
Well, I think they're all. I don't know, but they're all on scholarship.
I'm saying that part of it too.
Yeah,
but $3 million.
I don't know if they row like me a lot. That rowing's a tough deal.
You know, you just can't make $1 million go as far as you used to.
No, that's 100% there.
And when I get $1 million, I'll test that theory.
We might get you as an advisor to the rowing team next year, Wes.
Yeah, well,
y'all hang in there.
Yeah, that'd be a one-year deal. I guarantee you that.
Well, I guess the other bit of local court news is that it finally came down that Oakwood ultimately not playing basketball tonight. In fact, I think they are about to tip it up at 7 o'clock over at Skyline High School in the 1A Area 16 championship game between Eider and Woodville, as that has received a lot of state attention after Oakwood played more than 30 games. You're allowed to play 30 games in a regular season. Oakwood played 31. And
that's just stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate that for them.
I do.
But that's just stupidity. I mean, you got to be you're in high school, you ought to be able to count to 30. It's really easy.
Yeah.
And
you would think there is. Yeah. And Oakwood came out with a statement, but you can read it. It's pretty long on Twitter, but ultimately I wish they would have said, hey, our bad. Our coaches, the people in charge need to do better. We all need to be able to count to 30. I mean, if you want to be a member institution of a set organization, you got to follow the rules. So I hate it because it was a really good team that Oakwood had this past season. So their season is now done, and there is a bunch of area tournaments going on. In fact, I know Coleman won their area as well on the boys' side. Hazel Green girls, they won it, I think, from what I read, the 16th year in a row that Hazel Green girls won their area tournament. So congratulations to them. 7A Area 7, I know that cranks up tonight over at Huntsville High School. In fact, I think the first game is already on between, let's see here, that would be the Sparkman game taking on Albertville. And it's a shame because one of those two teams are going to be done. And both of those teams are inside the top 10 in the state in 7A boys basketball. But one of those teams are now done. And that'd be another case where it's a shame where it has to end that way. But it is what it is. A scoreboard update for you. The Chargers in control here at Christian Brothers 66-44 with 2 minutes left to go in the game here at CBU. So let's go ahead and take our final timeout, transition into UH Charger basketball on the other side right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers. Up